All right, Golf DMV. So we're sitting in a very fancy, what I will call an executive conference room here at Laurel Golf Club. Happy to be here. Just played around. We were determined to not let any rain or drizzle stop us from playing this course. I think, well, most of us continued to play. Most of us finished our rounds. There was some shakiness around a few people. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that later in the show. But really happy to have Ryan Carmen with us here from Laurel Hills. Thank you so much for the invite. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I think I saw you guys on Instagram and you were wanting to play out here, so I somehow got a hold of, I think it was Vern, you.
Mm-hmm,
yep.
Mm-hmm.
And we got it hooked up. So glad you guys were able to make it out.
We really appreciate it. Social media is a beautiful thing. And so, you know, can we call this the executive conference room? Because it looks really fancy out here. And so I think Vern has played here before. Aaron has played here before. I have not. And Lawrence had not. So, you know, the first thing, because I had a whole thing that I wanted to talk about, but I think the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that I really enjoyed the course. I mean, it's a golfer's course.
Yes.
Vern and I were trying to compare. You got to come ready to play, you know, because the course will beat you down if you are ready to come out. But it's fun, you know what I mean? It's a challenge and it's tough. Do you hear that a lot about Laurel Hills?
Yes, absolutely. It's as difficult as you want to make it. Mm-hmm. You got to choose the right tees. We try to.
First of all, let me stop right there. Because we pull up. So we have this whole thing where for the last 2 years, we're not in whatever's closest to 6K. That's where we're playing from. So we pull up. We give it to the front tee. Lawrence and Aaron. Now. So Aaron and Lawrence said, well, they say, we're playing from 63. 63.84 is what we're doing. I was like, we're playing from the whites. I'm like, guys, we've done this because we've done this before. We've gone to courses and someone says, I know it's 62, but we're going to level it. And then we go 63. But you're right. You've got to play from the correct tees.
Right.
We weren't. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I mean, white tees is the safest to play out here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, blue tees, we get a lot of guys that want to play the blue tees, and they quickly figure out, like,
the group in front of us.
I probably shouldn't have done this. And at that point, they're just,
right.
the egos take control and they just continue with it. But there's nothing tricky about the golf course. I mean, you saw it. There's really no blind shots. There's really no water until you get to 16 if you really yank it left. But I'm guessing one of you did that.
No, we were good.
And then once you get to 18, and again, you have to, if you have a slice, there's a good chance hitting that water. But so there's a lot of sand out there. 121 bunkers out there.
Wow.
So I'm guessing you probably were in a few of the bunkers.
Mm-hmm. Some of us were.
But I mean, this course was built to host major tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
So it's built for, the green complexes are larger and a little more undulated.
Mm-hmm.
The fairways are a little wider, but we can shrink them up when we need to.
Right.
We keep the rough fair. The greens are rolling probably around a 10.
Right.
With being a public course, we have to keep it a little lower with the amount of rounds we get, or a little slower, I should say. But we average around a 10 and a half peak season with the greens. So our superintendent, Rick Owens, our assistant, Ryan Ackerman, and the whole crew, they've done a phenomenal job.
Absolutely, I think so. Absolutely.
As busy as this course has been, all courses have been, throughout COVID,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing the number of compliments we have gotten this year compared to other years.
Wow.
With, it's actually been amazing. So, and that's with less staff as well on our grounds crew side. So it's been a heck of a season.
Sure.
Far.
To me, it's an amazing course. So it's interesting because, so in Montgomery County, Maryland, there's this course, Little Bennett, and we say, if someone thinks that they can play, we're going to take you to Little Bennett and see what you got. And this is how I feel, here about Laurel Hill. Like if you think you can play,
right.
I want to bring you down here and let's see if you can play and see what you have. Because and again, when you're in the golf industry, I mean, it's a sport, but also an experience. What's the Laurel Hill experience here when you come to play? And
number one's the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
Top rated course in the country, municipal wise, top public in the state. So the experience, I like to preach hospitality. We're in the hospitality industry.
Sure.
With golf is kind of a subset of the hospitality industry. So it's just about the golfers experiencing the golf course. That's why it's here, and the history of the golf course with the jail site next to us, the Nike missile site. I don't know if you realized, along 6 and 7 was the nation's first Nike missile site. So there's a lot of history that comes with playing the golf course. But all in all, we just want everyone to come here, have a good time, spend some money.
Yeah.
And experience, just like you did, the golf course and why it's here and what it's all about. And I'm lucky to not only work here, but to manage the place. And certainly don't take it for granted. This is a special place. I know every golf course does that, and but this certainly has its unique history behind it.
Oh, no, absolutely. And as we were making the turn, we saw a bunch of juniors out. I guess there was a clinic going on in the short game area.
We host the first tee on Saturday.
Nice. And that's always, a great thing. And I like the practice area there with, the putting green, but then also over to the left as you're going up to 10, you've got the short game area, bunker area, and things like that. I imagine that there are all sorts of opportunities for tournaments and weddings and things like that to have here at Laurel Hill.
Pre-COVID, I mean, this place, as far as social events, non-golf events, weddings, bar mitzvahs, birthday parties, retirement parties. I mean, we certainly do it all, and we have a menu to serve each one of those events. Right.
So one of us, out of the three who regularly host the show, lives in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. The other one near Damascus. I'm Silver Spring, Maryland. This is not a far spot to get to. I mean, once you get on 95, you're down here. I mean, for any golfers who are up, Montgomery County, maybe even Prince George's County, how would you compel them to come down and check out Laurel Hill?
Top-rated course in the state. I mean, we're a proven entity. We're owned and operated by Fairfax County, so we got the power of Fairfax County behind us.
And Fairfax County is very powerful. Just saying. I mean, Fairfax and Loudoun is. I mean, honestly, it's got the money.
I mean,
okay.
and they did it right when they built this place back in 2005. They knew what kind of land this was, what kind of course could be built, and they had the vision. And 16 years later now, and we're still one of the best in the state. And but it's more than that. I mean, we can talk about rankings and whatever. We're a proven busy golf course.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, well, we were just saying that because when we were making the turn, we've been at several courses, and we talked about how recently we've seen just some folks just not out. Like when we're playing, like courses don't seem super busy as of late. Not here. Here, man, there were folks everywhere. They're playing. They're at the range, and that's been great. And so when it comes to, because I asked our buddy there at Bull Run this question, I'm going to ask you, what kind of golfers do you not want to come to Laurel?
It's funny, I listened to his answer, so I'm not going to repeat it.
The politician answer was, everyone coming.
I was hoping you were going to ask that question. What kind of golfers do we not want?
You want all golfers to come down.
Well, of course.
You want paying golfers are the ones.
Everyone's money spends the same.
Exactly. No, that's funny.
Honestly, we want everyone to experience this golf course.
Sure,
There's a lot of people where this golf course is, I don't want to call it a bucket list because that's just too egotistical, but people save up to play courses like this.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this: if you haven't played the course, you don't know what you're missing. Because Vern and I, as we were finishing up on 17, we said, "Oh no, Laurel Hill has to be in the rotation. It has to be." Like, I mean, so we try to rank certain. Where there are some courses where we're just starting the season, or some courses beat us up pretty bad, so we want an easier kind of round, and so we schedule stuff. But if we think we're geared up and we're ready to go, this is a course we got to come to prove whether or not the game is set or not. Because if it's not, it's going to show you that it's not. If it is, you can hit some shots. And I mean, again, it's tough, but it's gettable. You know what I mean? Like you got to be able to hit shots. Right. You got to be able to hit shots. And I'm not the type of golfer that doesn't have a good time if I play bad. Right. You know what I mean? I shot a 96 today. Half of that's Aaron's fault because I shouldn't be playing from 63. But whatever, whatever. But I mean, I shot a 96, but I had a good time. You know what I mean? There were several putts up. And I always leave putts short or putting bad or something like that. But no, I love the place. Aaron, do you have any questions?
I just want to shout out to Pat, the star.
Yes.
Who had the classical music last.
He did.
That was a really
good vibe. Really good vibe.
And I told him about it too. So
that's awesome.
Every course should do that.
Yeah, shout out to Pat. Yeah, the starter had the classical music going on there and everything. Cool. And so Vern, how about you?
I just want to thank you, man. Again, appreciate you responding on IG.
Absolutely.
After that, I don't know if I ever would have. I mean, I booked for the group.
Sure.
And obviously, it's just you have to be there right there at midnight to get those 2 times.
It's tricky. I hear it's absolutely anytime. Absolutely.
Well, so we talked about this with Waverly Woods, hidden gem in Maryland. Again, if you haven't been to Laurel Hill, because you hadn't. Well, you have, but you had. I mean, if you hadn't been, you got to put it on your list. You have to. It's definitely a Golf DMV top recommended course, Maryland or Virginia or DC. I mean, it's a top one. Yeah, they only got. I mean, So, yeah, and only one of them we really actually would tolerate playing that. But anyway, but National Links Trust is doing something about that. That's another show. Laurel, got to come out, guys. Thanks, Ron. Really appreciate it.
Actually, I would be remiss to say, so from an instruction standpoint, Eisman Golf Academy, I don't know if you noticed, he's a top 10 Golf Digest instructor in the state. He's got an awesome staff with him.
Oh, sweet.
And he's got a new studio and he's going to be growing. He wants to build an Eisman campus out here at Laurel. So he's got some big plans, especially technology-wise. I mean, that studio itself already has Swing Catalyst and TrackMan and stuff that just goes over my head. It's not my world, but he's got a good thing going. And at Twin Lakes, another county course.
I mentioned that,
He's also there. But he's got a good thing going here, and his staff is just incredible. And he's adding more instructors as the season goes on with how busy he's getting. So
Sweet.
It's a good thing.
There we go.